welcome or welcome back to the channel. I'm Judy and I'm passionate about travel, history, geography, and exploring how these elements shape people's lives. We've traveled pretty far since last September and I'm ready for a break. As an armchair traveler, it's not my knees or my feet or my back that'll give out. It's the time and ability I have to study, review my photos, and sometimes find better ones, and research and write up my findings in video form. Take my word for it, recording and editing these files is the least of the effort. And all of that can be compromised by the number of hours available in my day and the other tasks on my to-do list. This summer, I need to replace the floor in the kitchen, replace a 17-year-old refrigerator. The ice maker leaks and the repairman cannot figure out why. Research and replace the stove, same vintage as the refrigerator, and so old I'm literally afraid to use the self-cleaning function. There's more, but they're small potatoes compared with the big three. All of these things are going to require considerable research and thought, so I don't get taken to the retail cleaners. Then there's the garden to tend. My weeds have lost their ability to fear me. This is not a good thing. I'm currently working on a short video history of the Plantagenet clan. That was the one that created the Angevin Empire, which eventually collapsed under the weight of squabbling and fighting among the last two heirs, and a video tour of their favorite palace and town, Chinon, here in the Loire Valley. Chinon has only recently been restored, at least partially, and as far as I can tell, it's not completely properly documented. We know some pretty basic facts about the castle. It was Henry II of England and his family's favorite continental home, and a place where Henry attempted to enforce his will on his unruly sons even after his death. It's also where I think Eleanor of Aquitaine, Henry's understandably aggrieved wife, finally got her revenge on her old man. After Henry died, his oldest surviving son, known to us as Richard the Lionhearted, assumed the throne of empire and promptly went kiting off to the Middle East on crusade, leaving Mama, Eleanor, in charge. She did a very good job. When Richard died, about 10 years later, his youngest brother, the feckless John, inherited everything and promptly lost most of his continental holdings through idiocy and incompetency, including this castle, to the French king Philippe II Augustus. That pretty much cemented the French king's control of the area. The castle stood strong and proud through all of this, including the 100 Years' War. This is where one of the possible heirs to the French throne, who would become known to us as Charles VII of France, actually hid out and skulked, and where he was met, and by all accounts had considerable steel put into his spine by a 17-year-old French peasant girl named Jean, whose name has come down to us today as Joan of Arc. She met him here in Chinon. She made him a king. She led her men in battle and for her pains was burned at the stake in Rouen, basically while Charles stood by. There are a lot of arguments given about why he stood by and didn't do a thing to rescue her, but there's a reasonable argument to be made that the man was more afraid of her than he was of the British, who at least had the decency to see her as a serious military threat. At best, Charles was an ingrate. There's a lot of history here for me to study and excavate, including the foundations of the castle. No two of the sources I've consulted, at least so far, have even told me exactly what the castle looked like in Henry's day. So I'm going to be doing some digging, not just in the garden, but in my books. I'll be back after Labor Day, assuming nothing else goes wrong, a doubtful assumption, and I get everything else done. In the meantime, I have a favor to ask. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll know when I get Chinon done and posted for you. Meanwhile, thank you for joining me and keep on traveling.